Welcome to the KariClub.com. Happy New Year. After all that turkey at Christmas, now it's time to make something a little bit lighter and fresher. We're going to be making butternut squash kofta, a roasted garlic and squash sauce, methi roti, and a cabbage and cashew nut thoran. So to start making the kofta, we've just peeled and chopped some potatoes and put them on to boil. So we're just going to peel the butternut squash. Just use a nice sharp potato peeler. Now you're not going to like me for this, but I want you to grate the butternut squash. There is a little bit of labour of love in this, but it will be worth it, trust me. Now you've got muscles like Arnie. After grating all that butternut squash, I want you to squeeze out any excess moisture. Just take another bowl and just clasp your hands together. Give it a really good squeeze. So while we're waiting for our potatoes to boil, we've grated our butternut squash kofta. Leave that to one side and we'll start making the sauce for the koftas. That's quite chunky bits of garlic we want, because we want to roast them in the oil, fry them in the oil. So we're going to start with our sauce for the koftas. Cumin seeds, a chunky garlic, one beautiful Kashmiri chili, Ingar tomatoes, pinch of salt, and let that cook for a few minutes until the tomatoes have softened. And in the meantime, we're going to slice some ginger and chop some green chilies. Some beautiful fresh ginger goes in. You can see the tomatoes have softened down quite nicely now. So your butternut squash that you so lovingly grated is going to be used in 3 parts of this dish. So one part of this is going to be used for the sauce, one part is going to be used for the thoran, and one part is going to be used for the koftas. So it's going in 3 elements. So we'll take a little bit and put it into our sauce. Some turmeric, coriander powder, another pinch of salt, and just a pinch of red chilli. Give that a little stir. So leave that mixture to cook for a few minutes, then we'll add some warm water. So our roasted garlic sauce with our grated butternut squash and our tomatoes, lots of garlic, a Kashmiri chili. We're going to give that a little blend now with our hand blender. Now to finish it really nicely, I would pass it through a sieve to get a really beautiful glossy sauce. Obviously you don't have to do that if you don't want to, but that gets a really nice pure finish. Squeeze a lime. Final bit is a bit chopped coriander. Now it's time to make the kofta. We've got our boiled potatoes which are ready. We're going to mash them. And then we're going to assemble the koftas with all our different ingredients. So we've mashed a potato, and don't forget I'm cooking a lot more because we've got a hungry cameraman who's a vegetarian and a few friends coming around later, so the quantities will be different. Some chopped ginger, chopped green chilies, chopped coriander. We've got our wonderful grated butternut squash here. Salt. Turmeric is optional, but because it's so good for you, I like to put it in where I can. And a little bit of coriander powder. Squeeze of lime. Black sesame seeds. and then get stuck in. Now what you are going to need to help your koftas is a bit of gram flour. So this is a fantastic flour to have in your kitchens. It's really good for batters, it's good for pancakes, it's good for sponges. It does all sorts of things. It's gluten-free, really healthy. So we'll put some of this in our kofta mix. And carry on. So now it's time to preheat your oven. Now generally in India we would fry these koftas, but for that you need a karai of oil. So to try and give you an easier method, we're going to roast them in the oven. A little tip to making your koftas is just put some oil on your hands and then you start making your koftas. It comes off easier. Now you can make them some fancy shapes if you want, but generally just make them round and put them on a grease-proof paper. We've made our butternut squash kofta. We've sprinkled them with sesame seeds. They're in our oven at 200 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes. While they're baking in the oven, we can be making our cabbage and cashew nut and butternut squash thoran. So for the thoran, we're going to use a fantastic local artisan smoked oil, maple infused with chili rapeseed oil from Kaiser Smokehouse. So we're going to use that just a tad. Mustard seeds go in, wait for them to pop. Urad dal. Kashmiri chili, got some lovely cashew nuts, squeeze of lime, and your turmeric and asafoetida, which is going in. Throw your cabbage in. Butternut squash, which is still grated here. So it looks like a lot of cabbage, but that shrinks down into in quite a nice size. We just made some lovely butternut squash koftas, a roasted garlic and tomato sauce, a cashew nut, cabbage and butternut squash thoran. And finally, to finish this dish off, we're going to make some methi roti. So the only difference with this is that make the chapati the same as normal, but you just rub some roasted fenugreek leaves into your mix. I really hope you enjoyed making this recipe. Happy New Year.